Faye Chapman, welcome.
Hello.
It's great to have you in the podcast studio today.
Great to be here. Sunny Swansea.
Yeah, indeed.
It
indeed.
is actually.
And quite opportunist of us, actually. I think our marketing team reached out to you recently.
Yes.
And we discovered that you're very local.
I'm here.
Yeah.
Can't get rid of me.
Well, it's a pleasure to host you. Thank you for taking the time. I know you're super busy with all things business related at the moment. So just getting an hour protected in your diary to come down and share your wealth of experience. I think that's what today is all about, really, Faye.
Yeah, happy to do it.
Yeah, and predominantly the Your PT pod, it's aimed at fitness professionals within the sector. They might be getting started on their journey, or they might be very seasoned. But I think the topics that we're going to cover today are going to be relevant to every fitness professional.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to get stuck in. Yeah, absolutely. So do you want to just start off, Faye, just giving a little bit about your background and what's kind of landed you to this point?
Yeah, it's a bit of a long journey, but I will try and cut it down. So when I was growing up, I was always like the good girl. So I did really good in school. I went to college, I went to uni, I got a degree, got a postgraduate, got married, bought a house, did all the things I was supposed to be doing. I was never into fitness, though, I will say. And then I was, just one day like, what is this life? Like, I feel like a background character in my own life. Like, everyone else is doing their thing, and I wish I could be like that, or I wish I could do that. And so I decided I'm going to just blow up my whole life. I left my partner. I left my job. I started to run because I thought that was the way to lose weight.
Nice.
And I just thought, I'm just going to try something else because I want to experience this life in a completely different way than I have all this time.
Yeah.
So I started the gym, lifting, started running. I learned about nutrition. Then I learned that running wasn't the way to lose weight. And my journey kind of went down that way, really.
Okay.
I started a job in marketing.
Yeah.
Before that, I was a teacher, actually. I was a teacher, which is the one I quit. Then I started marketing.
Yeah.
And then I was personal training on the side.
Okay.
So I became a personal trainer. Then COVID happened, and I got sick with COVID before the jabs come out and everything. And I was breathless. I couldn't get out of bed. I had really bad brain fog. And bear in mind, a few weeks before this, I was up at 5, going to the gym. I was very ambitious and switched on. I was writing international strategy for the job that I was in.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden my life just took this turn. So during the COVID comeback, I suppose, I learned about my hormones and learned about circadian rhythm and my own health and how that impacted things like cognitive performance.
Yeah.
Then I decided I'm going to blow my life up again, quit this job. I've had enough of this.
Yeah.
I built the online business, quit personal training, and built a business and travelled the world.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, and a lot of stories I hear in the podcast studio originate from that time, that 2019, 2020, the COVID, the pandemic situation. I think a lot of people kind of had realisation that, do you know what, I need to set myself up in a fit and healthy manner, but also from a career perspective for the next 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
So I think there was a lot of career changes.
I think a lot of people decided, actually, life is short.
Yeah.
Because everything was shut, wasn't it? And now, all of a sudden, you had this time to think, is this what I want to do? People weren't working, and people really focused on their fitness, didn't they?
Yeah.
For those
We had
that
nothing
year.
else to do.
No, exactly.
So it was superb from that perspective.
Yeah.
So you've gone from teaching to being a marketeer to then flipping everything on its head and going health and fitness.
Yes.
Okay, and that started with your personal fitness journey.
Yeah, so I lost over 40 pounds because I was never into health and fitness.
Okay.
I was just always indoors playing PlayStation growing up.
Really?
Yeah.
And that's amazing. So, in terms of impact on your health and your energy levels, just from your personal physical journey, how life-changing was that?
It's weird because I wasn't pushing myself to do anything that required energy.
Okay.
If you know what I mean. I wasn't going for walks, and I was just getting up, going to uni or doing my, doing my work, wherever, and then going home. So I didn't need energy as such. And I think what I see with a lot of my clients is they don't know how good it can be until they're there, and then they look back and they're like, actually, that was okay. Like I was surviving, but I wasn't thriving.
Yeah.
And that's the bridge that health fixes, I think.
Yeah. No, that's amazing. Yeah. And I think until you've walked that walk, you never truly understand the impact it can have.
Yeah.
And I guess undoubtedly now in your situation work-wise, inspiring other people on their health and fitness journeys, it's quite nice to have gone on that journey yourself and experience everything positive and negative associated with it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, like one of my toxic traits is I aspire to look like people who have been skinny and built muscle, which is a completely different body type and mindset and struggle from people who have been overweight and then lost the weight. I think that's really different. So leaning into those kinds of growth, I think, as a person is really important. Yeah,
absolutely. So you position yourself now, Faye, as a women's health specialist in essence. So we were talking before the podcast, and that encompasses a wide range of kind of analytical assessments and physical kind of adaptations to exercise. So I think from a coaching perspective, how have you managed to educate yourself to a level to really push yourself into a specialist field? Has there been sort of an education journey that you've partaken in?
Yeah, so I did my personal trainer level 3, and then I was GP exercise referral as well.
Yeah.
Then I started listening to podcasts and diving into books and courses. So I've done the Girls Gone Strong menopause course.
Yeah.
But I think more so is speaking to experts. So like one of my mentors is Alan Aragon. I met Bill Campbell, Lane Norton. So I've been to conferences where these people have spoken. I've had the luxury of having conversations with them. The Mind Pump guys as well. Like having those conversations, I think, is really where you learn.
Yeah.
And through the experience. Because I could teach you how to coach someone, but until you actually understand what they're going through, their struggles, how they're speaking to you and their lifestyle, I think that is more beneficial than like a course, for example.
Yeah, I think you get a lot from coaching on a personal basis, and that's where the learning happens, really, doesn't it? It's like doing your driving test.
Yeah,
you don't learn until you've got the plates off and you're on the road on your own
by yourself.
It's often the analogy personal trainers use. And I guess working. Do you work solely with females or?
No, we don't. We specialise in female health.
Yeah.
But even men come to us to work with us. Yeah, I've helped men reverse diabetes, for example. So we've worked with quite a lot of men as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Because in the pre-notes, it was the client avatar, I guess, you approach is busy female professionals.
Yeah.
And I guess that can bring quite a lot of challenges, with dealing with people in busy environments, in quite high-stressed environments.
Yeah.
What's been your observations working with that specific demographic?
I think their main problem when you get to speak to them is the feeling of not enoughness. So they don't feel like they're doing enough.
Yeah.
But that is what's got them to their career as well. So even though they're like, they might be a psychiatrist or they could be an entrepreneur, the fact that they've got there is because they haven't felt good enough. They've had to push harder in their career, and they think that pushing harder, doing exercise, eating less, moving more, that is the way to get better at their health as well.
Okay.
But it doesn't translate across. So I think it's really interesting that actually the problem is the psychology of the client, not their effort levels, which is what they think it is. I'm not disciplined enough. I'm not motivated enough. But we need to get to the root first.
Yeah.
So it's their mindset, I think, is the most important.
So not enoughness. That's quite an interesting kind of thread there, isn't it? So that I'm getting from that. So fulfillment is kind of the area you're looking at.
Yeah, but also people pleasing.
Yeah, okay.
From other people. So like me, right? I was doing really well in school. I got the degree. I got the masters. I got all of these things because I didn't feel good enough deep down.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to tick everyone else's boxes. But then when it comes to actually looking at myself and allowing myself to be like, actually, I'm not happy doing what everyone else expects me to do, or, you know, pushing hard in these areas where I'm just miserable, essentially.
Yeah.
Or I wouldn't say I was miserable, I was fine. I was fine. And fine for me isn't good enough. It's not enough. So I think it's that, not necessarily, or almost, it's the external validation people need to lose to be able to feel fulfilled, to do things to make them feel fulfilled.
I've seen this firsthand as well, because like we've been brought up to a degree in this like hustle culture, especially in the last like 10, 15 years. And a lot of this kind of leads towards social media and, you know, looking through that lens of social media, that little window, everything looks perfect.
Yeah. And
everyone judges themselves based on what they see. And especially in a day and age now when everything can be filtered and improved.
AI.
And AI'd. It's quite an alarming kind of scenario that we've landed in, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I guess you're seeing this firsthand with the clients that you work with.
Yeah. Especially the women we work with are typically 35 to 55.
Okay.
So they're my kind of age, and even though now I think the younger girls are surrounded by more AI, I think they're a bit more awake to what's filtered and what's not. Whereas if you show something to a woman that's 40, she's less aware what's filtered or not. So I think the generational shift of priorities and focus has changed as well. For example, like women who we work with will have a glass of wine to wind down. Younger women typically don't drink. So even though there's this shift of hustle culture, I think the younger generations aren't buying into it as much as the older generations have been basically pushed into it, essentially.
I agree with that, to be honest. And I see this firsthand in my local rugby club. Because back in the day, everyone would finish their game and they'd have a few beers after. And that would be the way of, you know, unwinding and also socialising. Now, you see the youngsters, they finish their game, they're not in the pub, they're having the recovery shake. They're getting their Normatex on. They're getting massages. They're doing cold therapy. They're doing red light therapy. Everyone is so much more in tuned into health and well-being, which I think is so positive.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah.
And I suppose from a coaching perspective then, it makes those conversations a lot easier because you're in tune and the client, the consumer is in tune with what's good as well, I guess.
Yes, I think with the women we work with, they are the older generation, so they are still doing the wine or whatever. But I think they're becoming more aware of it.
Yeah.
And they're open, especially my clients are open to understanding it and they want to learn. A lot of my clients, like, they are passionate about education, not just be like, oh, you need to, do red light. They're like, why do I need to do red light therapy? Is it worth it? And they question these things. Yeah. Whereas some people aren't open to changing the way that they think.
Yeah.
And I think those people are more likely to do things like GLP-1s, for example.
Okay. And when you talk about things like, it could be GLP-1, it could be red light therapy, it could be cold therapy. How important do you think in this day and age is it for a personal trainer to be fully aware of the benefits and the negatives to a degree as well of some of these aspects?
I think it can be helpful. But I think the first thing you need to do is understand how to coach someone and how to translate your knowledge into their actions and get them to do it, not by just, let's see how many calories we can burn, but actually this is why we're doing this thing and this is the long-term health effect of it. Yeah. Whereas if you can't get them to eat right or go for a walk, red light therapy is not going to do anything. Yeah. So I think it's really important to help them understand their own body and get them to feel empowered so that then when they do try these things, it's actually beneficial for them. Yeah.
I truly believe that the core fundamentals, they're evergreen. So, being able to coach those core fundamentals and give your clients the best ability to adopt lifestyle change outside of the physical provision that we do every day is gold. That's absolutely gold. And you're right, red light therapy pills into insignificance, really, if you can't get the core fundamentals nailed down. No. In the notes I made prior to the session today, I circled the term chronic stress as well. So this came up, and it appeared to me that you see this on a regular basis. So I just wanted to dive into how prevalent is chronic stress when you're dealing with clients at the moment.
The women that we work with, when they first come on board with us, we don't get them to cut calories. We don't get them to exercise. We don't get them to do anything fancy.
Yeah.
We help them lower their cortisol first. That is the first thing. Not even sleep. Because if you're high stress, you can't sleep.
Yeah.
So people talk about how important sleep is, but the stress, the cortisol, is the main issue, especially for women in the demographic that I work with. They are more likely to have high stress because they've got probably aging parents, maybe young kids, maybe they're empty nesters, they've got a partner, they've got a house, they've got a career, they've got all these things. Then you've got potentially perimenopause on top. That decreases the ability to handle stress as well, for your body to handle cortisol, which then can lead to insulin resistance, which is exacerbated by high stress as well. So it's a big cycle, and I think that is the most important thing when it comes to health and fitness for women.
Yeah.
And men, I suppose.
Yeah, well, yeah.
They're stressed as well, I guess.
Men get stressed, yeah, 100%. I used to have hair. 100%. But it's interesting. I suppose you can't really analyse this compared to what it was 10 or 15 years ago, because, how long have you been coaching for, Faye?
Oh, God. About 8 years, I think.
8 years,
like that,
okay.
Yeah.
So, like, culturally, maybe there was more back in the day, maybe there was less.
Yeah.
But I'd probably suggest that the stats will show that there's probably more kind of chronic stress in individuals, on in this day and age. And again, having the ability to deal with that and overcome that so it doesn't get exasperated and cause further, health issues.
Yeah. It's
important to have a pathway to move forward. And it's so refreshing to hear that. We work with hundreds of PTs all across the UK, and I can guarantee there'll only be a small percentage who have got this attention to detail and are analysing this to the degree that you are.
Yeah.
So that's really, really powerful. The other side of that then is, I guess, through your services with This Is Coaching, that's your business brand. What does the client experience look like? Because it does seem to me that it does differ to what someone might experience in a traditional gym setting.
Yeah, it's completely different. So when people come to us, first of all, we interview them to make sure that they're a good fit, that they will actually, they're coachable, essentially. So we onboard them, then we have a consultation to understand their goals, their issues, their injuries, their experience, their, if they've yo-yo dieted, medication, their lifestyle. We want to understand basically every single thing about them, which from my perspective means that they have to be able to trust me to open up. Yeah. So building rapport from the business perspective is really important from the get-go. Yeah. Once we've onboarded them and we've given them like a rough roadmap as to this is what the next 6 months are going to look like, roughly, then we look at things like, right, we need to lower stress. So what are the most stressful things in your life at the minute? But what people typically don't understand is that the women that we work with, they don't understand this. They're stressed, but they don't recognize it because they're so used to being on all the time, to being stressed, that we need to work on that barrier, that boundary. Yeah. People hate boundaries, but that is really important, the boundaries. Then over the time, we look at stress, sleep, hunger, energy, recovery, and digestion. So we're looking at nutrition, we're looking at gut health. If people have got blood panels, then we send it to our registered dietitian who will go through them, look at them, give feedback. And we basically give them every check-in, which is all online, something to work on. So it could be, right, you need to, you're tired in the afternoon, but you're skipping breakfast. Fasting is not going to work for you. You need to eat breakfast. It needs to look something like this. We give them macro goals, calorie targets, and the further we go in to the journey, the more detailed we give them. So at the beginning, it might just track your food so we can kind of see where you're at. Uh-huh. Then it might be a protein goal. Yeah. Then slowly build up. Then it might be fiber. Maybe later down the line, it'll be fats. And the last one we look at is carbs, because people try to undereat them when actually it's really important. And fat is something that women typically are told to cut out, low fat this, no fat that. But that's our hormone health relies on fat. Yeah. So helping them to understand that is really important. And then alongside that, we run workouts. We've got an app so they can see the workouts that are written for them based on their assessments, their movement assessments. And we kind of get them to document their journey the whole way then.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. So there's a blueprint there.
Yes.
And your job as a coach or, as the owner of the business, I guess, is to make sure that everyone ticks off these parameters in the right time frame that suits them individually.
Yeah. Because some people might have like a really stressful life at the moment.
Yeah.
There's no point in pushing them really hard. Whereas we do like push-pull, not exercise push-pull, but push-pull like periods where you push hard or we pull back. Our contract is like minimum 6 months people work with us. Okay. So during that time, hopefully they are stressed at some point, so we can teach them how to navigate that. Yeah. They might go on holiday or go away or have a birthday or have Christmas or something. So it's about teaching them how to handle those occasions as well. So when they do leave us, they know how to do everything. Like literally they know what to do.
Bloody love that, to be honest. Yeah. It's fantastic because, again, you're giving the individuals the tools to go and do it themselves, and thrive, know. But there seems to be, this is underpinned by a strong education theme as well, isn't it? So that you're actually ensuring that this is sticking. Yeah. The client experience is one of, compliance, but one of education as well. Yeah. As you go through that journey.
100%. So I teach a lot in our course. Our coaches, they specifically say, right, you have got this problem or your body reacts like this. Yeah. We need to tweak this during that time. Yeah. So like one of my clients, she used to have like horrific mood swings before a period, like really, really bad. And she used to say, well, should I cut calories? Should I do this? I'm like, no, eat more. Let's increase our fat. Let's lower processed carbs a little bit. Yeah. Eat the dark chocolate, like have these things. Yeah. And her mood just completely stabilized. Whereas other clients don't need that. Yeah, some people are fine before their period. I've had personal bests on my period. Yeah. But then there's things that they're saying you should be cycle syncing. And I don't think there's no one single rule that fits everybody. Okay. And so when I teach, I say, right, this is general, this is textbook, but you might be different. Yeah. And going through our coaching, which is one-to-one, the coaches can tell them how their body responds and how their body changes. Yeah. So that then they know how their body works, essentially.
That's amazing. So to a degree, it's going to be some trial and error there.
Yeah.
And I guess you've got 6 months to work that out.
Yes.
Because you're in that commitment, you're tied in. Yeah. And you're completely transparent with that from the start. You're sort of having that conversation to say, I'm on a journey with you. Yeah. And to get any tangible, meaningful change long term, you've got to dedicate yourself for 6 months. Yes,
it's a minimum of 6 months, but a lot of our clients stay with us for like 3 years. Brilliant. Something like that. Yeah.
I can imagine. Because once you're on that trajectory, you don't want to stop.
No.
And goals change as well, don't
100%,
they?
Yeah.
And I think I always find this with personal trainers, Faye, and it does baffle me to a degree. It's kind of, you'll ask a personal trainer, what's your goal with the clients to, get my client to a level where they can do their own thing. And I'm like, okay, that's great. But if you're coaching correctly, your goals should always be evolving and changing. And what they've set out at the start is never, the end destination. No. There's a journey beyond that.
Yeah. Yeah. Like we use something called a FAST framework. So the F is foundation. This is where we're building their, hormonal homeostasis, basically, making sure that they understand food, nutrition. Then we'll go into the A. So that's when we start to activate a phase. Yeah. So the phase could be fat loss, muscle gain, health, wherever the goal is. Yeah. Then we go S, which is success. So they've achieved that goal. And then T is transition. We either transition back into an activation phase. So they might have done fat loss. Now we're transitioning back into muscle building. Yeah. Or they transition into intuitive eating and then they basically leave because they know what they're doing. Yeah. So that's the way that we work is to build their goals alongside them and making sure that they understand that you can't stay in a fat loss phase forever. Yeah. That's the thing.
Absolutely. Is that where the name This Is Coaching was born? Because it's proper traditional, authentic coaching in my eyes at its best, because it's personal, it's developmental, and you've constantly got it's not just yourself, is it? You've built a multidisciplinary team to work with your client base and to optimize the results that they get. So it's so authentic from that perspective.
Yeah, this is coaching came about when I was ill, when I had COVID, and I was like, do you know what? I'm sick of these people coming to me and saying, this person was trying to give me a meal plan and they told me to, they just didn't, just left me to it. Or they give me a workout plan, they left me to it. I'm like, that is not coaching. Yeah. Coaching, because I come from a teaching background, is actually helping them to understand and sometimes figuring it out themselves. Yeah. I use a Socratic approach, like Socrates. So getting them to answer things themselves. I'll say, what did you mean by that? Or what happened last time? So I know the answer, but they also know the answer. Sometimes it's about digging out their answer so they understand it. Yeah. If they understand it if it's coming from their mouth, they're going to value it more than if it's coming from mine, essentially, because it's their own experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, they think they've come up with the idea themselves.
Yeah, exactly,
they'll stick to it. That's amazing. And how many clients do you currently serve?
We serve normally around 80 at a time.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'd imagine that's max occupancy in terms of what you can feasibly deal with at any given time. Yeah,
we run small challenges alongside it as well. So we'll do like our one-to-one clients. Yep. And sometimes we'll run short 6-week challenges, or we'll run like 14-day, they're called challenges, but they're not like weight loss things. They're like basically a way to help them understand, to kind of buy into education first. Yeah. And then we typically upsell to one-to-one.
Okay, fantastic. I want to look at trends for a little bit. So don't look shocked. I did tell you earlier.
No, you didn't.
So trend-wise, we see a lot. We see a lot of fads come and go in the industry, and it is the case. And going back to the coaching philosophy earlier, the rise of like online coaching, and I've got an 8-pack, so therefore I am a coach, and you should listen to me. There's lots of things that I see why there's a lot of confusion with the consumer market when it comes to fitness coaching. But from a professional standpoint, we've seen things like GLP-1 in recent times. We've seen intermittent fasting come and go and reappear periodically. Yeah. And we've been in an environment where supplements have become really popular in the last 10 years as well. So if we just take those three in isolation, what's been your professional sort of findings, I guess, when work with clients, and how have you managed to rationalize decision-making processes when it comes to, let's start with GLP-1.
Okay. We have had people come to us that are on GLP-1s, and we've had people come to us who want to come off GLP-1s as well. Yeah. And I think they are important, and I think they are a good tool. But like everything you've said, they're all tools. Yeah. They don't work for everyone. And unless you've got the right lifestyle in place, there's no point. Yeah. The stats are something like 80% of people regain 95% of the weight back after a year of coming off GLP-1s. That was...
Go for that again. What's the stat? So
something like...
Because these are changing all the time. So 80%...
80% of people will regain 95% of the weight.
I can see it. I can see why as well, because it doesn't address the lifestyle habitual change.
No, and habit changing is the most important thing, right? Like what aisles you go up in the supermarket. Yeah. That will, if you're not eating, then you're not going to go up the protein aisle, the meat aisle. Yeah. You're just going to go to the freezer for the frozen pizza because that's all you can eat because you're full. Yeah. I think that's really important. We've worked with people who want to come off them, so that balance between tapering off and helping them to understand they will regain weight as well is really important. Yeah. The worrying thing for me with GLP-1s is long term, I'm not sure that the government, let's get into this, are thinking about the long term consequences of a lot of fat loss, then a lot of fat gain, but the muscle they've lost has not recovered because they haven't done weight training the whole time. So even though they're regaining 95% weight, 20% of that could have been muscle. Now it's re-put back on with fat. Sarcopenia, osteoporosis, all of these issues are going to become monumental. And people are saying, well, it's costing the NHS, less to give these drugs than it is to work on these individual comorbidities.
Yeah.
But long term, those comorbidities are going to take a shift.
Yeah.
And I think will amplify.
Yeah. It completely resonates with me, and my belief is very similar. And I think as an industry, as a sector, fitness professionals, there's an opportunity here to collaborate with the NHS and put meaningful kind of steps in place to improve the longevity of these results as well. And I think personal trainers, they need to be able to hold a real good conversation around, the benefits of medicated journeys, and also understand the pitfalls and understand where the interventions need to happen as well.
Yeah.
It is worrying, because those are the stats that I've been looking at as well. And when it comes to the muscle waste within these cycles, that is fairly alarming.
Yeah, and a lot of the people that we work with in that age group are more prone to muscle atrophy anyway.
Yeah.
So now you've got that on top.
Yeah.
People are so focused on the scale going down, and that their health, which is muscular health, isn't a priority. It's just that scale number. They see it going down, the dopamine hits, like, yay, I'm losing weight, I'm doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Not understanding the consequences, long term.
Yeah. And when you look at strength training, strength training is your ultimate counteractor here, isn't it?
Yeah.
To keep the muscle integrity there. And to stimulate, more muscle development as well. And going back to your client base there, Faye, how important has strength training been just collectively? From a hormonal perspective, from, a strength perspective, how beneficial has that been from your client base? Because from my perspective, there's been a massive change in education around the weightlifting space. Back when I started personal training, all my female clients would be, oh, I can't go in the squat rack, I can't lift weights because I'm going to become a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
But the perception has changed quite dramatically, hasn't it, in recent years?
Yeah. Again, I think it's that generational shift. The younger people feel that way. I think the older people are still being brainwashed, and they still believe that kind of thing. They'll pick up a weight and turn into, Arnie the next day.
Yeah.
Hormonally, super important for women, because it helps with muscle helps with insulin sensitivity.
Okay.
But from another perspective, which you didn't mention, is psychologically the growth of people, the confidence they build.
Yeah.
It's not about getting small. It's actually about taking up more space, like mentally, and being able to break out of this good girl, I need to be as small as I can attitude, I'm not enough, to actually, I just deadlifted 100 kilograms. Of course I can speak up in a meeting today. Yes.
Nice. Okay.
And a lot of my clients, they're new to the gym, or they work out from home maybe. Maybe they advance to the gym. Maybe they buy stuff at home, wherever. But a lot of them have now quit their jobs. Like, I'm a bad influence. They've quit their jobs or gone for promotions or left relationships or started businesses because of the confidence they built. And that comes from the gym, and not just building muscle, but the discipline it takes to go to the gym when you don't want to, or to choose the right food when you'd rather have the pizza, or, all these little wins stacking up and helping them to recognize the woman or man that they can become. Yeah,
absolutely. And I think it goes unrecognized, actually. Sometimes we're super focused on the physiological benefits, but sometimes the psychology side of it can be so empowering, so impactful. That's amazing. And looking at going back to the trends scenario, supplements.
Yeah.
So, we've been through this massive growth phase of supplements becoming the go-to, to support nutrition. And I get it, where it can fit. And I use a protein and I use creatine.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much all the supplements. But there's millions now, isn't it? But I guess there's been a little bit more research in recent times around creatine.
Yeah.
And especially around the benefits to females as well.
Yeah.
But generally, supplements, is it something that you endorse with your client base or try and stay away from?
I think it comes back to the basics. It's a supplement. It's to supplement your current lifestyle, to supplement your current diet.
Yeah.
That being said, I do recommend some supplements. So protein, but only if they can hit 100 grams through natural food first. I don't want people drinking like 5 protein shakes and be like, I've hit 100 grams of protein.
So that's a nice way of doing it. So if you can hit 100 grams, let's say my target is 150 a day.
Yeah.
You'd get 100 from foods, and that's non-negotiable.
Yeah.
And you can top up with a supplement.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the general rule I've got. Creatine, monohydrate, yes.
Yeah.
Good for female cognitive health, especially when you get a bit older, you get things like brain fog. People worry that it'll make them massive, or I'm not working out at a gym. Can I still take creatine? That's something I get a lot.
Yeah.
But women generally should, make sure you check with your GP, check with your doctor, should be taking creatine every single day. Magnesium as well is really helpful for a lot of our clients. Okay. Magnesium glycinate typically is what we recommend. Reduces inflammation, helps people sleep. Okay. But again, check with your healthcare professional first. Yeah.
Put a little disclaimer on this. And they're general rules of thumb. So they're things that will benefit the majority of the client base.
Yeah.
Are people generally deficient in magnesium?
Yes.
Not getting enough from food?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And vitamin D is the one most people are deficient in because
we don't get enough sun in Wales,
we live in the dark. But I had a client, I've got a client who used to live in Dubai and she's moved back to to England. And I said, oh, I bet you didn't have the problem when you lived in Dubai. She said, well, it's so hot we couldn't go out.
Yes.
So I had to have extra strength in Dubai.
yeah, especially in the summer months.
Yeah.
It's interesting. But I mean, I agree. You know, I think there's definitely a time and a place for supplement. It's great that you've got those boundaries in place though, because again, you know, you're aligned with a dietitian or a nutritionist.
Yeah.
So that's part of the provision package. You know, with your solution. But I think, you know, understanding the exact kind of nutrition outlay that a client is consuming on a daily basis, only by understanding that you can then suggest alternative methods.
Yeah. A lot of our clients, well, all of them, they track. We use MyFitnessPal because it links to our app.
Yeah.
So we can see the macros that they're eating. We can see trends between their weight and their macros. So if their carbs are really high and their weight jumps, they think they've been like quote unquote bad. But actually we look and we're like, well, hydrate is water. You hold on to more water when you eat more carbs. So you're going to be heavier. So we're going to disregard that weight from your kind of trend.
Yeah.
So it's helping them to understand those kinds of things and maybe they'll then tweak it. And I think a lot of women naturally, or our clients naturally, change what they're eating because they're more aware of what they're eating. Even without me saying anything, they'll be like, oh, my protein's low. Oh, I ate, 3,000 calories. I didn't realize there was so many calories in X, Y, or Z. So I made the better choice this time.
Yeah.
So, it's them understanding again. It's the education.
It's the education. Yeah, no, absolutely. It's brilliant to see. And something that kind of comes and goes seasonally, it seems as well, is intermittent fasting or fasting in general. And outside of religious beliefs and things of that nature, is there a place for fasting, and what impact could fasting potentially have from a hormonal perspective?
There's so many different ways to go about it. I think obviously like religiously, and if you're doing it for that, then that's one thing. I think it can be helpful from a mental strength point of view to be like, I don't have to eat every 4 hours or whatever, and I can survive a day of not eating.
Yeah.
I typically don't recommend it for a few different reasons. One, I like women to eat as soon as they kind of get up, basically to help their circadian rhythm, to help that the endocrine system start to work at the right time. I also don't think many people, so say you fast like, 16 hours, 16-8, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. Not many people can get in their full protein amount in 8 hours.
It's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, not many people can get it in 12 hours.
Yeah.
So now you're cutting it down.
Yeah.
I think it's harder. And also people think that intermittent fasting is why they're losing weight. But it's actually just because they're not binging on crap after 6 p.m, They're like, oh, it's 6, that's my fasting time gone. I can't have the chocolate or the treats or their extra bit of food. So their calorie intake goes down, so therefore they're losing weight.
Yeah.
I think it's important for them to understand that that's the reason that it's happening.
Yeah.
There's autophagy is like one thing that people talk about, but generally for my clients, for 99% of the world, I would say, they can't get their nutrition right. So let alone now trying to add in these extra boundaries. So
the juice isn't worth the squeeze to a degree. And I guess if you're looking at a 24-hour period, calories throughout the day, as long as they balance up.
Calories across the week, even.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You're pretty much there, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I was saying that I did do a course on something called an aggressive diet. Have you heard about this?
No.
It's like a very low calorie diet. So
what's it called?
It's an aggressive diet.
An aggressive?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've done a couple of rounds of this.
Yeah.
It's all calculated by body fat percentage, experience, when you've yo-yo dieted, your history, all that kind of stuff. And you go through a phase of eating very low calories. So based on my height and my input, mine was sitting around about 850 calories a day.
Okay.
And now there's lots of people online that will go, you can't do that, it'll ruin your metabolism. But the science backs it. There's research that backs it. If you're strength training, if you're hitting protein, you're giving the stimulus to the body to, sustain muscle mass. Okay. And obviously it's for a short period of time, right? You're not doing it for like 6 months at a time.
Yeah.
You need to go into it with high carbs to prepare for it. You need to take supplements during this kind of thing.
Yeah.
You take diet breaks, you do phases, but that's like another approach that I'm seeing is getting more popular now.
Okay.
And I will shout out Martin McDonald, who is the guy that's initiated all of this conversation, done the research, does the trainings to help trainers actually with this journey as well.
I met Martin once.
Oh yeah?
In Dubai Active. And we actually went to university at the same time.
You?
Yeah, we were both at Loughborough at the same time.
Yeah.
And we look quite similar as well. He's got bald head and beard.
beard.
Bald head and beard is catching on.
It's a trend. Let me get my razor out.
But that's amazing. And do you know what? This shines a big light, and often a grey area in personal training, of the importance of having a formal qualification in nutrition.
Yeah.
If you're a personal trainer and that's all you're qualified in, we should not be writing detailed nutrition plans. No. For consumers, it can be very damaging. Yeah. And if you are passionate about that, you need to get a formal qualification. So I think the multidisciplinary approach that you've developed with This Is Coaching is really refreshing, because you've got these expertise that you can tap into at any given time.
Yeah.
And I mean, we work from a Your PT perspective with a chap called Dan Richardson. And he is a dietitian by trade, but he's also been a personal trainer. So he conveys the message quite eloquently and in layman's terms, so that personal trainers, understand this information. There's nothing wrong with guiding. Yes. But when you come to prescribing, I think that's where the hard line is going to be drawn, isn't it?
Yeah, sometimes it's like, if I was in this situation, this is what I would do. Yeah. Sometimes that's what it comes down to. Yeah. But it's never like, you should do this and only this, regardless of anything else.
Yeah.
We can give guidance, we can give options, but it's their decision at the end of the day, and they have to take into consideration their history, their own health, what their GP says or their doctor. I think is important.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Okay, so that's our Mythbusters, so to speak. When you onboard a new client, is there a series, you alluded to this a little bit earlier, Faye, is there a series of assessments or questioning criteria that you have to go through with every individual client? And if so, what does that look like?
So when we're onboarding, they have to fill out a questionnaire, which is things, even down to things like, what are you eating in a day? Where do you eat? Do you eat at your desk? Do you eat on the sofa? Do you eat on at the table? What time do you go to bed? What time do you wake up? How would you rate stress? We ask all of these questions to kind of get an understanding of their lifestyle. And I've already asked them this in like an interview question situation, but to get them to see it as well, we get them to write it down. And then we do movement assessments. So they film themselves doing certain exercises. Okay. So like a plank, which is typically like awful. Romanian deadlift, which is also awful. even things like the scratch test, you know, to see their overhead mobility, because all of those things will make a difference to their programming.
Okay.
So we have to understand everything that they've going on, even down to, have you got any holidays coming up? Because that will adjust the timeline of plans. Yeah. Will we push harder? Will we pull back? Will we do a shorter foundation phase? Will we push the activation phase a little bit longer?
Yeah,
how extreme do we go? What are they willing to compromise on? There's two things. You either compromise on your goal or you compromise on your current lifestyle. Yeah. You can't have both.
Yeah.
So if you want to go on holiday and eat everything that you want, that's fine. But don't come back expecting your six-pack to still be there. But that's fine as well. You know, it's getting them to understand there's boundaries and there's things that you need to compromise on, whether that's results, goals, lifestyle. Yeah. And that's basically how we go about it.
Yeah, that's perfect. And how often do you revisit that assessment? Because I'd imagine your phases are dictated by the feedback that you're getting from the assessments and through verbal dialogue. Yeah. And I guess when you do the screening, that's all, is that, it's not face-to-face. Is it online, clear feedback at the time that they're delivering, or is it recorded and then sent in for you to analyse?
Yeah. So because we've got like one of our coaches in America and two of them are in the UK, and sometimes wherever actually, anywhere in the world, everything is recorded as well. Because, so say you were doing a squat, you sent me the squat video. Yeah. I would then screen record myself watching your squat, speeding it up, slowing it down, pausing it, showing the shifts. Like, oh, you're shifting to your left here. That means we're going to add in glute med exercises to try and work this. Your ankle mobility is not very good, so that's what we're going to work on. And this is why we're adding these exercises. Yeah. And they can see it as well. Whereas sometimes if you're doing it live, they're kind of like looking in the mirror and then they're like, oh, am I doing it like that? Or it's not very, it's not very visual for them.
I think it's so powerful to be capturing that, because it gives you the opportunity to revisit it later down the line as well. And, you know, a lot of the times I think clients will get into their mind and think they're not progressing as quickly as maybe they wanted to. But then as a coach, if you can document, then you actually started here and you're now here. Yeah. That can be really inspiring and get people back on track if they're losing their momentum to a degree.
Yeah. And that's it. We're always told to see like our measurements or our progress pictures. Yeah. But one woman I spoke to the other day, she said, I haven't lost any weight in the last like 3 weeks. She's just started, but I'm sleeping way better. I don't have to take anything before bed now. Yeah. I don't have to take any like diuretics because she was constipated all the time. Haven't needed to take those in 2 weeks. My bloating is gone. Yeah. And it's like, they are all wins. But I think the industry is so like dismissive of those kinds of wins. That the consumer is then like, but I'm not losing weight. Yeah. So it's reinforcing those positive changes and those positive wins.
Absolutely. And it's how you're analysing your weight as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
if you truly look at body composition, and you can all, have that conversation then around, actually, you haven't lost weight, but you've increased your muscle. Yeah. So, that sort of, dynamic. Yeah. I think if you're a professional coach, it should just be a given. You should be doing this. If you're not, you'd get on it straight away. Yeah. But I think the level of depth that you go into with your clients is phenomenal, Faye, and it's no surprise that you are thriving in your business and it's growing and developing. And it seems like it's going from strength to strength.
Yeah. We're just branching out in so many different ways. And, we'd run transformation challenges as well. So we do like photo shoots across the year. We run lifting workshops. We've done them in Edinburgh, and we've done some in Wales as well. I did a menopause cafe. So, I think when we're thinking about like shifts in the industry, I think in-person events are going to be even more important moving forward as well, I think.
100%. You're preaching to the converted here. So that we do the same with like level up events. So we run them over the country and they are in person. Being a coach can be quite a lonely environment. So I think getting outside of your four walls, going to an event, learning from experts, and we get the likes of Phil Looney in there, who's he's super educated on circadian rhythm and he talks about sleep and he talks about psychology, and then we get Ollie Patrick in, who's a physiologist, talking about his area of expertise. I think there's opportunity, for us to develop our relationship and have the likes of yourself involved in these as well, because it's a powerful message. And I truly believe, if we're going to level up the industry standards, we need to bring the best educators to those forums so that the PTs are getting absolute quality. And more importantly, can go away with an action plan that they can implement tomorrow. I think that's really important. For sure.
Abs don't show the whole thing, do they?
Say it again.
Abs don't show the whole picture.
No, they don't. I've been saying that for years. Partially because I don't have any, but never mind.
They're under there.
And you mentioned the photo shoots then. I guess having something in the diary, whether it be an event or a shoot, that's keeping people on track,
100%, Like I remember we had one client who was doing really well. Like she'd lost like 30 pounds. And then, 4 months in, she was kind of a bit like, like plodding along. And then she wasn't losing weight. And then she was like being a bit lazy with her tracking and everything. And then there was like a month to the photo shoot, something like that. And within like a week, or probably a week, she'd lost like 10 pounds because she knew it was coming and she had to dial it in. She had to like track everything. She had to weigh everything. She had to be more disciplined essentially with everything. Because, tracking fatigue is real, isn't it? We all get a bit like, it's about 150 grams of chicken. Like that's roughly it. And then you weigh it and you're like, oh, shit, that was 300 grams. Like my estimation's off. And we're like, well, I have 20 minutes of cardio, for example. I used to do, 200 calories and now I'm doing 150. But all these like small things add up. So when you've got this event, whether it's like a marathon, I've got clients running a marathon in Vegas in a couple of weeks, actually.
Oh, cool.
I know.
How cool is that?
Yeah, she's from Virginia. But those kinds of things, you have to get it done. Even when the weather's been bad, she's had to go for a run. Even when she hasn't wanted to, try different gels, like running gels, she's had to because she has to run a marathon in a couple of weeks. So having those deadlines means you have to focus, have to dial it in, have to be more specific. And go do it, basically. Tough shit.
Discipline. And they got you in your corner, in their corner as well, being accountable to you as their coach as well. And they don't let you down, do they?
No. And the women we work with do not like to let people down. That's the thing. Sometimes I speak to women and they're like, I've been doing it, but I feel like I'm letting you down. I'm like, it's not about me. This is about you. Are you letting yourself down? Like, it's trying to flip that conversation as well.
But I think I say this a lot. It's an analogy I always use. But I think because you don't let yourself off the hook easily, your clients will acknowledge that as well. And by default, they won't let themselves off the hook. So I think you set the standard, don't you, as a coach? We're all human. But it's important to have that conversation as well.
Like my clients know basically everything about what's going on in my life. Like, the highs, the lows. They'll know if I'm working towards something, if I fucked up on something, like they will know. And the transparency builds another level of trust as well, because they see me and I've like, fallen off the wagon or wherever, or I'm staying up late. That's like a naughty one that I do a lot. I'm scrolling and they're like, did I see you online last night, Faye, at 11:30? And I'm like, yes, it was me. I was online. And they give me a bit of a slap on the wrist as well. So it's about, them seeing that I'm not perfect. I never claim to be. And that I make mistakes and that, I learn and change. And that they can do the same.
100%. No, it's brilliant. You're doing a terrific job. And we're unfortunately coming to the end of this episode. I know
Time
They do fly. But as a rule on the podcast, Faye, we always kind of leave the last word with our guest. So it's been amazing just learning a little bit more about the dynamics of This Is Coaching today. And I'm sure PTs listening to this are going to take loads of value that they can apply to their own businesses as well.
I hope so, yeah.
It's really, really innovative what you've done and how you work with your clients. But what does the future look like for This Is Coaching?
I just want to keep making an impact and helping people believe that they can do more than they think that they can. That's it. That's it.
Amazing.
I just want to help people.
Well, it's better than marketing. Apologies to the marketeers in the office. But I mean, you've found your passion and you've developed, a real strong community. And how much more empowering, can that be than, where you are already on your business journey. and with your expertise and your drive, the sky's the limit, really.
Yeah, I hope so.
So I'm excited. I'm excited to continue this relationship, Faye, and observe the journey and support wherever we can at your PT as well. But thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you for your time.
It's been amazing hosting you, and there's a ton of value there for personal trainers.
Hope so.
Absolutely. We'll catch up soon.
Thank you.
Woohoo! Faye, that was class.
Thank you.
Nailed it.